Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hare Guruvayurappa Sharanam. Dasaka 80 of Narayaneeyam is the story of the jewel Syamanthaka, that is Syamanthaka Upaakhyanam. Srimad Bhagavata Dashamam 53.20 to 54.60 are summarized in this Dashaka. The story is Satrajit, a prominent Yadava, was a worshipper of the sun god. The sun god Surya was so pleased with his friend and worshipper that he presented him with a rare jewel, an immense diamond of rare luster. Satrajit, wearing it round his neck, was returning home. People mistook him for the sun himself and thought the sun god was coming to pay homage to Sri Krishna. Satrajit had a small temple built in his house to house the jewel and performed puja with the help of Brahmins. Every day the jewel would produce gold and this became the talk of the town. Krishna sent for him and said it was better to keep such a treasure in the king's treasury, where the immense wealth it produced daily could be used for the people's benefit. But Satrajit was greedy. He did not agree and Krishna did not force him. Now, Satrajit had a younger brother Prasena by name. One day he went hunting with the jewel round his neck. He got separated from his friends and did not return at all. And it was public secret that Krishna had asked for the jewel, and gossips immediately began to talk suspiciously about Krishna. Now, this was unbearable, and Krishna with his friends entered the forest in search of Prasena. Soon they came upon the ghastly remains of Prasena. He had been killed and dragged up a hill. There they found evidence of a fierce fight between the lion and a huge bear. Evidently, the bear had won and dragged its booty up a hill and entered its caves. Leaving the attendants outside, Krishna entered the cave. The cave was lit up with the luster of the jewel Syamanthaka, which a child was playing with. Seeing the stranger, the child cried loudly, and the huge bear, Jambavan, came to her rescue. Then ensued a great fight between Jambavan and Krishna. The fight went on for 18 days. Jambavan, the hero of Ramayana, was now facing defeat, and then realization dawned on him. His opponent seemed very much like Sri Rama, his master, and he now realized that it was the same Lord Vishnu in a new avatar. With tears in his eyes, he prayed, "Pardon me, Lord. Now I see you as my master Sri Rama in a new avatar. Forgive my ignorance." The Lord not only pardoned him but gently stroked him, making him whole again. Krishna explained that he had come in search of the jewel to retrieve his reputation. Jambavan now gladly gave him not only the jewel but also his daughter Jambavati and escorted them back to Dwaraka. Meanwhile, at Dwaraka, the citizens were plunged in grief. They blamed Satrajit, who had brought this misfortune, by his greed. They started praying for Krishna's welfare, and as if in answer to this prayer, Krishna entered the gates, victorious and with a new bride Jambavati. Satrajit too, now entirely repentant, came with the jewel Syamanthaka and his daughter Satyabhama and requested Krishna to accept both. Krishna smiled and said, "I gladly accept Satyabhama, but not your other present, the jewel. Keep it yourself." And the marriages of Satyabhama and Jambavati with Krishna were celebrated with great pomp and splendor. At that time only, Bhagavan heard about the burning of sons of Kunti, Pandavas, in the wax palace and went to Hastinapura. At that time, at the promptings of Akrura and Kritavarma, Sadadanva killed Satrajit and took away the jewel. Actually, Satrajit had promised to give his daughter Satyabhama in marriage to Sadadanva. But Satyabhama was firm on marrying Krishna only. Now, Satyabhama was in deep sorrow because of her father's killing by Sadadanva and went to Hastinapura to report to Krishna. To make Satyabhama happy, Bhagavan killed Sadadanva, and Sadadanva had kept the jewel in the custody of Akrura, and Akrura now fled in fear of Bhagavan. Akrura prompted the killing of Satrajit of evil contact only. Akrura is certainly a great devotee of Bhagavan, but since evil thoughts came into his mind, to remove such pride, Bhagavan only prompted this incident. Bhagavan now called him back and entrusted the custody of the jewel to Akrura only. Now, Balarama was still not very clear as to actually what all had happened to the jewel, and went to the court of Mithila and thereupon took up the assignment of teaching Gadayuddha to Duryodhana. These are the contents of the sloka which we are going to see here in the Saga 80. Now we will go to the slokas. Rajidastvamadalubbdhavadarkalabdham divyam samandagamanim bhagavannayajihi tatkaranam bahuvidam mama bhadinunam tasyatmajam toiradam chalado vivodam. Though then, like a greedy man, asked for the divine Syamanthaka jewel from Satrajit, who had got it from the sun god. Hare, the reasons for this may be many. What appeals to me indeed is that this was a strategy by which you wanted to marry his daughter Satyabhama, who was in love with thee. Adattam tam tubhyam manivara manolpavanasa prasedastal bhradra galabu vivahan prabhamrigayam ahannenam simho manimahasi mamsabhramavashade kabindrastvam hatva manimabicha balaya dadivan. The narrow-minded one Satrajit did not give the precious jewel to thee. His brother Prasena wore it round his neck and went away hunting. A lion mistook the jewel because of its brilliance to be a lump of flesh, and so he killed Prasena. The great monkey Jambavan killed the lion and gave the jewel to a child. Shashamsuhu Satrajide Giramanujanaastvam Maniharam Janana Piyusham Bhavadi Guninam Doshakanika Tada Sarvatnyobi Sojana Sahido Margana Paraha Prasenam Tam Drishtva Harimabi Gadobhu Kabiguham. Influenced by the allegations of Satrajit, people suspected that though had stolen the jewel, even a slight fault in the conduct of the virtuous person is like nectar for people in general, for it gives them a chance to slay that person. In spite of the fact that thou knew everything about the jewel, thou went in search for it with thy men. Thou saw Prasena and the lion lying dead, and thus were led to monkey Jambavan's cave. Bhavandamavidarkayan adivaya swayam Jambavan Mukunda Sharanam Himam Kaiharoddomityalaban Vibho Raghupade Hare Jaya Jayetyanam Mushtibi Chiram Tava Samarchanam Vedida Bhakta Chudamani. The aged Jambavan did not know thy identity and so exclaimed, "Who has come to obstruct me, who has Mukund as his only resort?" As the crushed jewel of the devotees, he was invoking thee with, "O Lord Ram, O Hari, victory be to thee." He worshipped thee with blows of his fist. Buddhva datena dattam navaramaniim varamaniim cha parigruhnanne anugruhnan namumagaha sabadja satrajide manim prada. Finally, when Jambavan recognized thee, he gave to thee his younger daughter and the jewel. Though I accepted them and blessed him, and immediately returned and gave back the jewel, Syamanthaka, to Satrajit. Tadanu sa khalu vrilalolo vilola vilojanam duhidharamaho dhiman phamam giraiva pararpidam adidamanina tubhyam labhyam sametya bhavanabi pramudidamanas vadat manim gahanashaya. Satrajit, the intelligent one, was then filled with shame for his contact with thee. He had given away his daughter Satyabhama to someone verbally only. So he gave her to thee along with the jewel, though happily with thy deep and unfathomable reasoning gave back the jewel, having got what was worth getting, that is Satyabhama. Preelakulam rameyaditvai satyabhamam kaundeyadaha kathayat kurun prayade hi gantineya kridavarma gira nibatya satrajidam chadadanurmanima jahara. When they were delighting thy shy Satyabhama, there was the news of Kunti's sons being burnt in the wax palace. So they went away to the land of Kurus. Under the promptings of Akrura and Kridavarma, Shadadanu killed Satrajit and took away the jewel. Shogal kurun bagadam avalokya kandam hatva dhrudam Shadadanum samahashrayastvam ratne sashanga iva maithilage hemetya ramo gadam samashishikshada dhartarashtram. Satyabhama was overcome with grief and went to Kurukshetra. Seeing her, they quickly killed Shadadanu and made her happy. As though doubting the whereabouts of the jewel, Balarama went to the abode of the king of Mithila. There he very well trained Duryodhana in the art of Gadayuddha. Akrurayesha Bhagavan Bhavadichayaiva Satrajida Kujaridasya Suyojahimsam Akrurado Manimana Kradavan Punastvam Tasyaiva Bodhi Mubadadumidi Bruvandi. This Akrura Hare, by thy will alone caused the death of the notorious Satrajit. It is said that with a mind to bring about his prosperity, though did not take back the jewel from Akrura. Bhaktastvai stiradara sahi gandhineyaha tasyaiva kapathamadi kathamisha jada vijnanavan prasamavanaha mrityudirnam garvam dhruvam shamayidum bhavada kridaiva. Akrura was very firmly devoted to thee. Hare, how could there be an evil thought in his mind of killing Satrajit and getting the jewel? He was bloated with the vanity of having self-knowledge and self-control. Certainly to curb that, though brought this about. Yadam bhayena kridavarma yudam punastamahuya tadvinihidam chamanim pragashya tatraiva suvradadhare vinithaya tushyan bhama kujandarasaya pavane chapaya. Akrura with Kridavarma fled in fear. Though called him again and brought out the jewel hidden with him, though then let him retain the jewel who was of good contact and satisfied him. though then lived happily with Satyabhama. Hare Guruvayurappa, save me. With this, the saga 80, Syamanthaka Upaakhyanam, we have completed, and now we will listen to Sati Suresh's bhajan song.
मामियं चलितविलोक्यवृतं वधूनिचयेन सापराधतया मया विन वारितातिभयेन हरि हतादरतया सागता गोपीदेव हरि हता दरतया कृष्णा तामहं हृदि सङ्गताम् अनिशं वृषं रमयामि किं वने नुसरामि तामिह किं वृता